Real Dad Talk, episode 69, Fatherhood.
Welcome everyone, Chris B here along with Rob K. How you doing, Rob?
Chris, I am great, but I am starving. Can we have some cake?
No. What do we tell our kids?
Don't have cake.
Correct. But I got an idea. We got a guest today. Not only does he bake cakes, not only does he make amazing foods. His name is Ara. We all know him. He's been on Good Day LA. He's a chef, an author. He can actually clear this island jumping. I want to introduce you guys to Ara. Ara, why don't you guys join us?
What's up?
Hey! What's up?
What's
How
up?
are you?
How's it going?
Nice meeting you.
What's
How
up?
are
How
you?
you doing?
Good to see
How
you.
you doing?
So, Rob just tried to have me eat some cake before I've had a formal meal. What do you do with your kids?
Man, you gotta have a meal. You gotta have a
Okay.
meal before you have your sweets. You know, you
So,
can't
but
have
I
dessert.
need a meal that's easy as cutting
Cake.
that piece of cake.
I think we can whip something up. I think my lavash triangles are actually a perfect fit. You could pretty much put anything you want in them.
Okay.
So I think we can whip that up before you get a piece of this cake.
So I think you need some lavash first.
Let's hit it with some lavash.
Okay. And next?
We probably need some string cheese, tailbani.
Sounds good.
That works. I think lebni.
Lebni's always amazing.
Where is this food coming from?
I don't know.
From the fridge.
And then we should probably put some protein, some sujuk.
Okay.
I love sujuk. The kids love sujuk. Let's hit it with
Okay.
sujuk. Boom.
Right.
And this.
So now what am I going to do with all this?
So with this, we're gonna do our lavash triangle. So we need a knife. I'm sure there's a knife somewhere around here. We got a knife. We need a cutting board. Can you grab me a cutting board?
This is easy
Sweet.
so far.
So it's gonna be super simple. A bowl. I need a bowl.
absolutely.
So
My daughter would say a bowl of cereal at this point. But
So this is
you go.
perfect. So, don't try this at home with
Okay.
a knife flipping, but you can try the food part at home. Basically, you're gonna take the string cheese, kind of cut it in half. Obviously, peel off the plastic. We're
Or
gonna
some toothpicks afterwards.
that works. We're gonna chop it up. Okay. The string cheese is kind of gooey, stringy, and when
It's
you
very dense, right?
it's a little bit like mozzarella.
Yeah.
So when you cut it up and you put it into this lavash triangle, what it's gonna do once we cook it is act as like this kind of textural, gooey, pizza-y.
Okay.
And everybody
Does it
seems
kinda
to like
extend
it.
and string out
It
like-
does. You have that
Okay.
like cheesy moment that everybody likes. Okay. So we're gonna throw this into a bowl, and really with this dish, with these lavash triangles, you can actually make it with pretty much anything.
Okay.
I mean, I learned this recipe in Goris, which is on the way to Artsakh.
Okay.
And-
Where's Artsakh for some of our viewers? who don't know?
So Artsakh is in the southwest, in the south of
Okay.
Armenia, and
Got
it's
it.
basically it's a conflict area right now. There's a lot of problems, a lot of issues going on. There's a blockade.
right.
There's a lot of things, and it's one of those things that we just keep trying to push people and tell people.
Make 'em
Google
aware.
it. Take a chance. Google it. Take a moment out of your life and see what's happening in Artsakh. Create some sort of awareness.
Thank you for
Okay.
that.
We won't dive super deep into it.
It'll
We're
go
gonna-
for days.
Yeah, we can go on.
But
and
this
on.
does not take days to make.
So this is super easy to
It
make.
seems to be complex right now to me.
Nothing.
I don't know.
Look, nothing complex. We got sujuk or any kind of meat. You can use salami,
Okay.
and we're just basically gonna cut this up into little bits.
Oh wow.
Okay.
That's
Anna, how many children do you have?
I have four
That you know
kids
of.
that I know of.
Right.
Four.
Four. Okay.
Four that I know of.
so.
I think I got that right.
So what do you think about nutrition-wise, diet-wise, with all that's going on with the foods these days with preservatives? What's the best route for our kids?
Honestly, cooking home cooked meals will kind of prevent any of these additional preservatives getting into them. You don't really know what's in our food, and most people don't look at labels. They don't spend the time to take a look at it. They don't know what they're getting from grocery stores. They don't really understand
True.
it from restaurants. So I say shopping on the outside of the grocery store, where you pick up an apple. Guess what's in it? Apple.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? You pick up an apple that's in a box, you don't know what's in it.
So what are some of the products that you use?
Me, I mean, we eat a lot of protein. We
Okay.
eat a lot of vegetables. Grains, we do rice. Pastas, there's some pasta sauces that, everybody will grab a jar of pasta sauce, right?
Sure.
I make my own pasta sauce, but in a pinch, I like brands like Rao's pasta sauce. You look for organic, A trick with pasta sauce, I would say, look at the ingredients. If the first ingredient or second ingredient is sugar, then you know you get away from it.
No good.
Not at all.
Okay.
So that's kind of a cheat. It's pasta sauce, tomatoes. I need a spoon.
Of course.
So pasta sauce, it's meant to have no sugar in it. You cook the tomatoes down. The tomatoes naturally release that sugar and create that sweetness.
Okay.
Now, a cheat, which terrible companies use, would be to just add the tomatoes to the pot, add the sugar, cook it for 5 minutes instead of 45 minutes.
I see.
And now they jar it, and then you get $1.99 pasta sauce. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna add a little lebni to this, okay? Just a little bit. And what this is gonna do, so the sujuk will create the saltiness. The lebni is gonna kind of make it all kind of stick together. And I don't know if you guys can see that over there. It's pretty simple. And like I said, with this, in goris, I learned to do this with beans. So we cut up onions, we sauteed it.
What kind of beans?
Goris beans.
Goris beans.
Goris beans. Now, goris beans are something kind of obviously indigenous to goris.
Sure.
They're like a highlight when you go towards goris. That area, everyone's like, you gotta have the goris bean salad, goris bean
we get
lavash
them out
triangle.
here?
Was that
Can we get them out
They're similar to a burlati bean
Okay.
or a cranberry bean.
Got it.
So those you can get here. But honestly, I've done this dish with the kids with pinto beans. I've done it with kidney beans. I've done it here with cheese and suju. So now we're gonna take our.
This looks delicious by itself, by the way.
It's definitely.
Like I could just eat this. Like what is this? Carb free?
That's it. It's keto. It's
Keto, okay.
So we're gonna take our shita lavash like this.
Oh, that's huge.
Okay. And what we're gonna do is you're just gonna cut it into strips. So I like to tell people this is like a. Remember those old paper footballs we used to play with?
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's basically what this is.
Bing! We used to pass notes like that.
Score!
Exactly. High school days, right? Nobody learned anything.
No, it was like
We just...
college.
So we're gonna cut these strips,
Okay.
and it's actually really simple to make. Once you have these strips cut out, got our cutting board sliding everywhere.
Now you make a lot of different lavash triangles. Where can our viewers and listeners go to see all your different recipes?
So I post everything on all of the platforms. So
Okay.
I do TikTok, I do Instagram. Instagram is probably my biggest following. I do YouTube and Facebook.
Awesome.
So, I mean, you can also check out my website, arazada.com, but most of my stuff is through social media.
You put a book out too.
I did. I toured Armenia.
Very humble.
I went village to village gathering recipes in
Wow.
Armenia. First time I went to Armenia was 2016. I'm going to talk while I'm doing this so we
Sure,
can get going.
please.
So 2016, I went to Armenia and I realized I didn't know any of the food.
Okay.
I mean, I grew up Egyptian Armenian, and I was like, wow, this is Armenian food when I was growing up.
Sure.
When I went to Armenia, I was like, I don't recognize any of this stuff.
Wow.
I didn't know what any of it was.
Yeah.
So I partnered up with a couple people, my two co-authors, and we ended up getting a publishing deal through Chronicle Books.
Sweet.
We went village to village, gathering recipes, and we don't stake claim that this is an ancient Armenian recipe.
Sure.
But we say this is what they're cooking in Armenia, and they've been cooking it there for
Long time.
decades. Okay? So here we go. We're gonna work this real quick. You take a little spoon of it, drop it right into the corner. Okay? And now we're gonna fold it just like those paper footballs. You go up, triangle, over, 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 like that, all the way up, and boom.
Wow.
You got a lavash triangle.
That's pretty.
So you lay it seam side
Pretty
down.
It's pretty easy.
Super.
Hey, I mean,
Everybody wash their hands. Don't worry.
everyone should wash their hands.
Yeah. You got,
Luckily, before recording, we did wash our hands, everyone.
here, I'm gonna do one more, and then I want you guys to give it a try. It's that easy.
All
What
right.
do you guys feel about
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
So look, corner to corner, like
Okay.
lay it up. You got a triangle. Then you flip it up. Okay.
Okay.
Again, to the side. Flip it up. To the side. It's falling in position that it wants to.
Wow.
And then seam side down. So here, you can give this one a shot, Rob.
I think I'm gonna mess this up.
No, you're
Chris,
gonna be fine.
probably
It's
Hey, Chris.
Look, it's that easy.
It's dad-proof?
It's
Is it
dad
dad-proof?
proof. It's dad proof. You just drop it. There you go.
Chris, I just want to do better than the 2022 Lakers, okay? let's hope.
There it is.
Wow.
Now up and over. There you go.
Split.
There you go. You got it.
Whoa, this is so cool.
That's
Hold
a
on.
fatty.
No,
Let's
it's
go.
good. You can make them really big. I've seen people make ones that are like this. It looks like an empanada.
Sweet.
And then you just leave it seam side down.
Wow, I did one.
Super easy.
Very cool.
You just keep
Very
it laid
cool.
down.
Chris, get in there.
Go for it. Go for it.
Wow. Dude, this is a great recipe.
It's honestly, I've done this with the kids. I've done it with jalapeno popper, kind of filling cream cheese,
Oh, I like that.
jalapenos. That's going to be a big fat.
That's a fatty.
And there's no way to do this wrong, really.
Do we have lavash rolls?
But is it the
instead of
more you
lavash
fill-
triangles?
The more you fill,
It's gonna eat soup out.
it's possible. Yeah, now flip it
Seepage.
up. Look, even if you overfill it, there's a way to do this where it's gonna fix itself.
Yes.
So look, you're gonna flip it one more up to this corner.
Wow.
Now over, and you're
My
gonna
dad
be
was
fine.
an
That's
engineer,
fantastic.
so I got issues.
See that?
here.
Look.
Chris, I want to see with grape leaves what you do.
Ooh,
Let's
yes.
get some grape leaves going.
Yes. Okay, look at that.
Wow, fantastic.
Nailed it.
Hold on.
Hey, I
See
love
that?
it.
Perfectionist.
Chris, I didn't know this about you.
Perfectionist.
Lot you don't
I didn't know.
See that? You nailed it.
You're
You
a
nailed
chef,
it.
bro.
He nailed
Look
it.
at this.
All right. So let me finish off these last few of these, and then we'll get to sautéing them up.
So I had a question.
Yes.
When it comes to dads, males, we need to look after our own
Yes, you
selves
did
as
that a
well,
lot
right?
quicker than I
What kind of foods do you think that we should be having that will help our performance, help our diets out? Because Chris and I are always asking this question and we don't have the answer.
So for me, honestly, balance is key, and balance is key with everything. I eat a lot of. I eat a high protein diet.
Nice.
I eat
Okay.
a lot of vegetables. I don't eat a lot of grains, and I don't typically eat a lot of bread. Although lavash, I'm just gonna throw this out there, is
Sure.
the healthiest bread you can eat out there. It's the lowest in calories, lowest in carbohydrates. It
Is
is.
a whole wheat? Why is
It's not. It's just because it's a thin, unleavened bread.
Got
so
it.
theoretically, at the end of the day, you're eating the least amount of wheat
Okay.
very
with
cool.
it all.
Very
So
cool.
it's actually it's one of the better breads to
So
eat.
during the week, as far as your meats go, are you more of a beef person, fish, poultry?
So I am. Let me grab this. I eat it all. We just recently we used to eat a lot of steak. I love beef. We are bow hunters at our house. I bow hunt. My wife
You're
bow
going
hunts.
hunting soon.
I am going hunting in 2 weeks. It's bow season. It's starting, so we like to pack our freezer with as much wild game as possible.
Awesome.
So we know where the food came from, what it was fed. We appreciate the animals. We eat them from tip to tail. So we do. I use every part of these animals, from their bones to stock, to even one of the first deer I got. I turned their femur bone into a knife,
We'll
and I
stick
use
to
that.
lavash triangles.
That's it. So I
So
eat.
what do I do with this?
Here
now?
we go. Let me grab a pan.
You want a pan? I got a pan.
Yeah, and you're gonna see how fast this works. Pan and some oil.
What kind of oil? Does it matter?
Avocado. So I use avocado oil because it has a high smoke point.
Okay.
So we're gonna add it's not a saute. It's similar to a pan fry.
Okay.
So it's a decent.
Step over here.
I want to say a decent amount of oil. You want the whole bottom kind of covered, but it's not a deep fry. Okay. This could also work in an air fryer.
Okay.
You could also bake them, but honestly, like it's not that bad. As long frying is not terrible for you. Yeah, there's this common misconception. When you fry food at the proper oil temperature,
Okay.
the oil doesn't suck into the food. Now, where it gets bad is like, let's
Like
say
soaking and
it
wet.
soaks in, all
Got
the
it.
oil goes in. If the oil is at the right temperature, what happens is the food doesn't get greasy. It just cooks it from the outside, and it doesn't absorb into it. So it's a common misconception that fried foods are. That being said, obviously, if you steam something,
Sure.
it's better. But
Yeah.
we're looking at the lesser of two evils, and also this is for dads to make life easy.
This is-
you gotta enjoy
Excuse
it.
me.
We gotta enjoy it.
This is super easy.
Yeah, let me clean up this board. And
Chris,
So it looks
you
nice
and
and
I
pretty.
could do this in 5 minutes, right? Or 10 minutes.
It's 7 or 8, but yeah.
It's fantastic. This is easy meal. Busy. Kids have basketball practice, soccer practice.
Don't
after
eat
school.
with your food in your mouth. Right?
that's it.
I'm not having my cake. I'm waiting for this to come out. The cake is get the cake out of here.
That's
this
it.
is what I want because this is healthier than that cake.
So here we go. And then that little piece you kind of cut off?
Yes.
You use that piece, kind of drop it in there.
Oh, I gotta feel how.
Oh wow,
You see
that's
that?
cool.
Can you guys all out there see me? Am I out of the picture?
So you
Looks
kind of
like-
see it's simmering a little bit. That means it's ready to go.
There you go.
We're gonna kind of just take it out so that it doesn't burn while we're going in with this other stuff. So now with this, we're gonna lay this seam side down, okay? And you want that seam side to be down so that it
What
kind of
seam?
so the
What
seam
seam?
is that open part.
I see. Okay.
So yeah, I talk in a lot of chefy terms.
It's gonna stick to it. That's why.
It's gonna
right?
stick.
Okay.
It's gonna glue shut.
Fantastic.
Okay.
How
And
long have you been doing this? Cooking. Has it always been a passion of yours?
so I've been cooking since I was 5 years old.
Wow.
And
Not making a mess, like actually producing
cooking.
a product.
So the only reason I got into the kitchen is I wanted to be like Peter Pan and flip knives. And my mom said the only way you're gonna touch a knife is if you're cooking
Using
something.
it to cook?
So I got into the kitchen and she's like, "What are you cooking? What are you making?" I said, "I'm gonna be making." I have no idea.
Sure.
So she's like, "Cut
But I'm
the
using
salad."
a knife.
Yeah. So I started cutting salads, and then like it wasn't just one salad. It was like I'd sit there and I cut the tomatoes
Yeah.
until it turned into like basically tabbouleh or like the little Persian
Sure.
salads because I just kept going at it. And I found my heart in the kitchen, and I went into music. I went into the family business after that. And I found myself constantly coming home and finding myself in the kitchen to just kind of decompress.
Huh.
And eventually I was like, I'm done with this. I'm gonna go to culinary school. You know,
Okay.
this is where I want to be. And you know, it just kind of took off from there.
Le Cordon Bleu,
Le
right?
Cordon Bleu. I went to Le Cordon Bleu, and it essentially changed my life. See that? We got a
That
couple
looks-
minutes on each
that's
side,
Fantastic.
right? It's kind of sealed up.
Crispy.
Crispy is
The
what
one
you
that's
want.
opening is the one you made.
I deny that.
I'm just saying.
So, if the viewers want to kind of see how this is nice and golden, once it's golden,
Perfect.
you can kind of see it.
If you smell it, it's delicious.
So these are going, couple minutes each side.
Okay.
They're gonna come out nice and crispy. Let's grab a plate.
Sure.
A plate. I put a little paper towel on the plate usually. We'll slide this over
Do
here.
that with my bacon.
Yeah,
Not as
and it just
healthy as
helps.
it is,
It helps it so
Drain whatever
it helps
there
it
is.
drain, but also what it does is it creates a little bit of air. Because
Okay.
when you're frying something, you want that crisp. If
Sure.
you laid it right on its side, it would start to steam. That's when you get that softened part. So here you can see that we're kind of almost there. We're golden. I kind of pull them up on their sides. And this is just, I'm being extra. You don't have to do
Right.
this. I'm just, chefing it up. So,
If you were to tell me this was a lavash, I would not believe you.
yeah.
Yeah, it
This
looks
is-
like phyllo dough,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. It looks like phyllo dough. It's already put together, but it's like I'm in disbelief that this came from lavash.
Nobody, when I serve it to people, people are like, wait a minute, you can do this with lavash? And absolutely.
My mind's blown. My
You're-
mind is blown right now.
Imagine this with ricotta cheese too. Maybe?
You could do anything. You could put marinara in it with ricotta. It'll be a little lasagna pocket.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You could really put your kid's favorite. You could put a little mac and cheese in there, leftover mac and cheese, and have a little mac and cheese bomb. Sky's the limit with this. Mortadella, some tomatoes.
Football Sundays. This
Football
is perfect.
Sunday,
This is
absolutely.
perfect. This is NFL Sundays. Easy. All your guests will be happy. You mix it up. This is fantastic.
It's super, super easy, delicious, and nutritious, and we're pretty much close to done.
Love it.
I'm getting hungry. This cake can go in the garbage. I'm all about
That's
this.
your
One
dessert.
off.
That I don't know. Wow.
Okay, got a little crispy on that one. This one is looking good.
That's fire right there.
Here we go. Here we go. And we're good to go here.
So what was prep time? I mean, I feel like we flew through this. What was it?
honestly,
This is like
Minutes.
under 10 minutes. Imagine you come home from
imagine if we weren't talking and how fast it
yeah, exactly.
Oh, so there we go.
You come home from practice.
You can kind of see it.
Wow, look at this. This is fantastic. This looks like it comes out of a restaurant. Like,
Honestly, and I do this with the kids at home. It's fun for them. It's kind of fun for everyone to just play.
Sure, yeah.
And with
They
me,
don't have to use a fork and knife with this one. They can actually eat it with their hands.
you can eat it with your hands. You can bite into it. It shatters. It gives all those homey feelings and super fast and easy.
Awesome. So you're gonna do your traditional first bite.
Here we go. We're gonna bust it open. We're a little bit hot, but we can do it. Look at this. Wow.
is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing. It's so good. Honestly,
Look at this.
get in on it. It's hot. My fingers kind of are numb to things. It's part of the cooking.
Cheers.
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 Cheers. Cheers, guys. Cheers.
So,
Cheers.
Ara, what are your dad stats? We've got 4, right?
4 kids. Dad stats. I like that. I have a 6, 7, 8, and 13. We have 2 girls and 2 boys.
Awesome.
And the boy, our eldest, is the 13 boy, 8-year-old boy, and then the girls, 6 and 7.
Has school started yet? Sorry, Rob. Actually, I'm not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Usually, that's our podcast. Real Dad Talk is sorry, not sorry. Go ahead.
And I'm not sorry to be a father, bro.
That's it. School has started, which, is awesome. And, summer is great. We love hanging out with the kids.
Yeah.
The kids demand so much attention and love, and we are all about it. We're out there playing more than they're playing. We're playing.
Sure.
And it's like they're just waiting to play with us. So we're constantly out, trampoline time, riding bikes, doing everything we can. When school starts again, you kind of realize, like, oh man, I kind of have to work. That's weird. Like, we don't get summer break, but they do. So
do the kids help you out in the kitchen?
absolutely, they try to as much as
With
they
the
can.
knives or without them?
100% with the knives.
Got it.
So we have never guarded the kids from anything in the kitchen. So I see some parents, they're like, they put knobs on the thing, don't let them turn it on. They don't let them play with the knives. These are hot pans, get out of the kitchen. When the kids were very, very young, I put knives in their hands and I showed them, look, this is a knife, this is dangerous. This can cut you.
Yeah.
This will burn you.
Yeah.
And this is how to use this. And then obviously it took some supervision in the beginning.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, we did a meal. It was last year, and they help a lot in the kitchen. But this was a kind of a turning point for us. We did a meal where they said, we're gonna make dinner. Can we help? Absolutely. I put out a bunch of proteins like this. They stood there. We got on the other side and stared at them. They're like, what are we gonna do? We said, whatever you want to do. They're like, but what do you mean?
Yeah.
Said, these are your ingredients. Make us dinner.
Yeah.
And the only thing we're going to say is if you're about to hurt somebody or hurt yourself. So they whipped up a meal for us without us even talking.
Yeah.
And yeah, they had the guidance of the older one.
Sure.
But I mean, they made steak and they made salmon and they made rice, and they didn't measure the rice and they didn't measure the water, but it came out great. They did some weird stuff. I mean,
Pinch of this, ashka chop.
everything was achki chop. And
that's usually us, right?
yeah,
It's
supposed
just
to be.
based on eyesight.
That's how it's supposed to be.
We're supposed to be.
We had, there was a pan with a steak going in it,
Yeah.
and then one of our kids grabs a piece of salmon and throws it in with the steak, so we can kind of
Yeah.
have salmon-y steak. And then our youngest she's in charge of pasta. She loved pasta. She's like, I'm gonna do pasta. She stood there with her box pasta, and she's like, I need to wet the pasta. So she put the pasta in a bowl and just ran it underwater, because in her mind the pasta's dry.
Sure.
Now it needs to be wet.
But is it true that by doing that you're pulling the starch out of the pasta?
So
Tell me about that.
yeah, not really. So you're boiling it anyways. You're boiling it anyways, and that starch is coming out in that water.
Got it.
So washing the pasta, for her it was just pasta's dry and it's usually wet.
Got it.
She didn't have the concept of, but she was 5 at the time.
Right.
So, but at the end of it, we sat down. We had an arugula salad with strawberries in it. There was things that were just happening.
All right, when is dinner next week? I'm coming
Honestly,
over.
yeah,
I'm coming
anytime.
over, bro.
Anytime.
I have 2 kids. One of them loves cooking. The other one is not into it. But I agree with you. The introducing them to the small aspects, even knowing how to cut.
Yes.
I love getting them in the kitchen, but like I'm trying to get my son there, but my son's in.
So this is what we did, and obviously we have a mixture. We have 4
Yeah.
kids. Some of them love eating.
Yeah.
Some of them don't like eating
Yeah.
as much. And what we found is if you put them in the kitchen and you give them the ability to work with it,
Yeah.
they are willing to try it.
And
So-
to pick what they
and
want.
you
If
get to
got that
pick-
whole spread of stuff.
Yeah, and they do it, and it's things that like, maybe back in the day they wouldn't have eaten an arugula salad, but they chose the arugula.
Right.
And they chose to put strawberries in it, and now all of a sudden they're chowing down on an arugula and strawberry salad, which in my book doesn't really go together, but it was delicious.
Yeah.
So
how was it in your home? Was your dad involved in cooking like this the way you were?
No, not really. My parents, I came from a separated household.
Okay.
And my parents got separated at a very young age. My mom was a great cook, and she would help me in the kitchen. My grandma would as well. My dad, not so much. He, when we went to his house, it was a lot of spaghetti.
Right.
Spaghetti and salad, like to the point where I stopped eating spaghetti in my life. So here's a message to all the dads out there: don't cook the same thing.
Don't cook spaghetti 7 days a week.
Yeah, do not do it 7 days a week. I mean, there is everything at your fingertips. You can just Google easy recipes or follow my page. I put up easy recipes. There's so many things to do.
After this, Ara, I am
good
gonna be Googling all your recipes.
I love it.
I've already seen on Instagram, but
Yeah.
this is phenomenal. Like
It's fun, quick, easy.
it's like I'm at a restaurant but at home, and it's like I can't even say. Well, I think our next session we're gonna go into coffee.
I like coffee.
We'll be having coffee soon, right?
Let's do it. I'm ready for
Once the coffee's ready, we'll see everybody then.
And we're back with coffee.
What's up, everyone? Okay, so Rob was anxious to have his dessert. He can have his cake now too.
That's
so
right.
I had my dinner. Oh, that's a nice piece of cake right there. That's a nice piece of cake.
There it is. Locked and loaded. Locked and loaded.
So, excuse me. Dads, make sure they don't talk with their mouth full.
That's right. We're big on that. We're big on no talking with your mouth full.
That last segment was amazing because I really learned something that I can make in 5 to 10 minutes.
Thank you.
On the go, on the run, and it's like restaurant quality. It's perfect.
It's super easy. It's a fun recipe. I tell people about it all the time, and it's so versatile that really you can do it with just about anything.
Yeah.
It's like what you got in the fridge. All this stuff, let's put it in a lavash triangle.
Love it, love it. So I know you gotta go. You're extremely busy, but we've had this specific topic a lot, and I want to hear your perspective because it always changes. And being as busy as you are, you got to balance things. And one of the things that you balance between family and children is also how do you balance your interactions with your children? Meaning, when do you play dad and when do you play friend? And how do you work those two to make it work?
It's a great question. So for me, when the kids were born, I was always like, I'm gonna be their best friend. We're gonna be homies. We're arm in arm. We're gonna be strolling down the street. And somewhere down the line, I realized that I made a commitment to myself, and I've had conversations with the wife about this. I realized I don't need to be their friend. My job as a dad is not to be my kid's friend. My job as a dad is to do what I need to do to make this kid the most successful that they can be.
Right.
So all of the kids. So it's not this friend relationship, and yeah, that has boundaries. Obviously, you don't have to be super hard on them to the max, to the point where they're just breaking and crumbling. But sure. I don't necessarily need to be my kid's friend. I need them to succeed in whatever it is that they can and want to and will do in life.
And you want them to remember the tough times, right?
Absolutely.
And you think back and you're like, okay, to say I want my legacy for my children to be that, when they went through those thicker times, even though they may not appreciate it now, they might come back and say, oh, that's what Pops was talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, I push the kids to their max, and sometimes it's to a breaking point. And I always say, no successful kid in life ever had an easy ride somewhere along the line. They all went through something that was difficult. And when I say difficult, I'm not talking about poverty and struggling. I'm not talking about hunger.
Challenge.
I'm talking about a challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, Tiger Woods was golfing at 2 years old, and they would sit in the living room and he's taking chips. And why was he the best in the world? It's because his dad was on him. It's time to chip. It's time to get in the living room and start chipping. And I'm sure there were times when he's like, Dad, I don't want to putt right now.
Right, yeah.
I don't want to do this. And guess what? When he was world champion, when he won the PGA, how many times? I'm sure he was not thinking about that time. He was yelling back at his dad at 7 years old saying, I don't want to putt.
Thanks, Pop.
He was like, thanks, Dad, because other than that, essentially the kid is going to want to do everything else.
Yeah.
But pushing them to achieve this greatness, to their max potential. And I'm not saying take your kid who doesn't like volleyball and take them to the volleyball court every day and make them be the best volleyball player, right?
But you got to expose them to volleyball.
You
to
expose
find out
them.
if they're interested.
They might be good at volleyball. They might be good. I said, look, my kid, I want my kid to play, or my kids to play football. I love football. I want them to.
Yeah.
My kids aren't really interested in football. I said, if my kid wants to do ballet, the boy wants to do ballet, that's not my jam. But I'm telling you what, I'm going to make him the best ballet dancer on the planet.
We're going to support him.
Yeah, I'm going to support him. We're going to ballet class. You want to do ballet? You're going to be the best at that because you like it. And it's my job to make you the best at something you want to do.
So it's about staying active, right?
It's
staying active.
Yes.
But what happens when a child, our child, your child, Chris's child,
You have children?
they're all our kids.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
as a father,
It takes an
I
army.
think
Absolutely.
all our kids.
It takes a village.
So when it comes to when talking about social media, when you're talking about phone time, compared to activity time, because this summer we've been dealing a lot with this.
Absolutely.
And I'm pushing them, go play soccer, go play basketball, don't be inside playing video games. What is your strategy to push your kids outside, to push them, to do things outside the house?
So I'm very active. I go outside, I'm on the trampoline with them, we ride bikes, we do all of this stuff together. They definitely have their chill out time, is what we call it. But we are very adamant at getting them outdoors and getting them to do, not just go outside and play.
Right.
It's not iPad time.
Yeah.
It's like, hey guys, let's go outside and do this together. Right? Because you tell them, kids nowadays are not like they were when we were kids.
Absolutely.
When we were kids, I didn't want to be in the house. I had video games. We had TV, not as extensive as the kids do now.
Sure.
I was like outside on the streets till the lights came on, and then I had to run inside. Kids nowadays aren't like that. They don't
You know
want
why,
to be
though?
outside.
In my opinion, and I've said this before on other shows, people say kids aren't the kids they used to be. I think it's because parents
Are
aren't the
coddling
parents
them.
the way they used to be.
Exactly.
So back in the days, mom and dad would be like, okay, mom's like, I gotta cook dinner, go outside and play.
Yes.
You know how we knew when to come inside? Lights went
Lights
out.
went
Street
on.
lights went out.
Exactly.
But to add on your point about activities, excuse me, is consistency.
Yeah.
You got to keep that consistent mentality, at least in my perspective.
Absolutely.
Because the second you give that kid a break, where they think they can kind of like wiggle their way out of it, they're going to take advantage of that.
So we give our kids a lot of leeway.
Right.
We let them go out on the street. We have friends that don't like the kids on the street.
Sure.
Yeah.
We have taught the kids, and the older ones have got the responsibility to do it. The younger ones, I've been out there with them, and I see that they're not aware of what's going on, so I hold them back to a certain extent. But we give them, I try to give them as many opportunities as we have.
Options. You give them
And options, and it's like, hey, you can do this. Maybe when I was a kid, at their age, I was going 10 houses, 15 houses down. I mean, to a certain extent,
It's not the same in that sense.
there
The streets
isn't,
aren't the
because
same,
the
right?
streets are a little different. There are kids driving cars on their phones while they're driving.
Sure.
So there's some differences, but the ability and the strength and empowerment that they have to have their own responsibility. I'm
They're
allowed
grateful
outside.
for that.
So-
It's great.
Is it? Would you say like a hybrid approach? You're taking a little bit of this, a little bit of this, your style. How do you parent?
So for me, it's being active is huge for me.
Okay.
And when the kids are active enough to a certain degree, I give them their breakaway time. I recognize their breakaway time as being me Saturday morning watching cartoons, is them waking up and looking at their iPad.
Yeah.
So we can't look at the iPad as like this is a brain rotter when
Right.
I was in front of watching Saturday morning cartoons with cereal in
A
my
bowl of
face.
cereal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you gotta look at it in perspective. Like they come home or they're outside and playing, they sit on their iPad when they would have been watching some sort of, Friday nights, must-see TV, something.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So there has to be, now if they're inside for 8 hours of the day, it's like,
That doesn't work either.
bro, come on, we're doing the workout now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like we're active in that regard, and I think it is give and take. Also, you can't hold them back. The kids can't go to school now. The older kids can't go to school and be behind in these times.
No.
They can't, like, you can't be like, no, you're not allowed an iPad. No, you're not allowed this and all that. Now you're in, 8th, 9th grade. My mom doesn't give me, my dad doesn't let me. Then they're like,
yes.
what are you under a rock, bro?
Yeah.
Like, that's how, so you got to have this balance between.
But you could limit the time that they're on the
Limiting is absolute. We have screen time locks on all of the kids' tablets and devices. We don't allow tablets and devices at dinner. We don't allow them in restaurants.
Yeah.
Where we when we're at restaurants with the kids, like we bust out the crayons.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
like, we're doing tic-tac-toe. It's for us, it's important to engage and the kids to have those social manners. We sit down at dinner, the TV's off all the time unless football's on.
Well, that communication, leaving that line of communication.
Absolutely.
At the dinner table, even like I said, the crayons, and because we do it all the time with the kids. Hey, put the phone down.
Yeah.
Tic-tac-toe.
Yeah.
Play hangman, whatever the game is.
Yeah.
Do you own a dog?
No, I have 4 kids.
Well, you have the older one who has responsibility to take care of
Yeah,
the
so
younger
we have
ones.
chickens. We have chickens. The kids really want a dog. Right now, it's just there's so much, and part of the reason this is, it's very selfish. I get very attached. I get very attached to animals and everything. And very recently, my brother's dog died. We had to put it down.
Yeah.
And I was in the room. My brother asked me to go with him. Wow. And like, I don't cry when relatives are passing away.
Yeah.
I was sobbing like a baby walking out of the veterinarian's office. Like, and then I looked at my wife and I was like, no dogs.
Right.
No more dogs. I'm not going through this.
It's emotional.
Yeah.
We had a hamster for 3 years.
Oreo?
Yeah, he was in the corner. Great hamster. One day, passed away. The kids, and unfortunately, my kids' friends were over. One of them goes like, I think Oreo is not moving. I think Oreo's dead.
No.
And I go, no. Like in front of all these kids. Straight up. So it was very emotional. Everybody in the house was crying over hamster. And it's like one of those things where you're like, it is an emotional thing, like it is a lot of work, but at the same time, you get more upset about more than anything in the world.
Yeah, it's an attachment. It's an attachment thing.
It is.
And it's selfish to me. The kids want it. The kids have been asking for it. We got chickens because they provide food, and I'm super into that. They lay eggs, fresh food for me.
The eggs are amazing though.
Incredible. So they lay daily,
heard.
and then I go and they.
So I started because I was trying to talk about responsibility. Went from dogs to truly organic chicken eggs.
Goldfish.
I'll always segue into some kind of food aspect. And I raised these chickens from 3 days old. They were chicks.
Right.
And they were 9 months old, and in 5 minutes a coyote came and wiped out 6 out of the 9. And we were standing outside like devastated, and it's like people are like, they're just chickens. But no, you raised them from 3 days old.
Sure.
They had names. They knew you.
Yeah.
So like responsibility, all about it. We give the kids responsibility, but we give it in different. Our kids all have chores.
Yeah.
Giving kids chores gives them a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
And we tell the kids.
And accomplishment.
Absolutely. And we tell the kids, when you come home, you do the chores, and they're like, why are we always the ass?
So do they expect something from it?
No, we don't pay them. We don't do anything.
That's
so
awesome.
we tell them, we said, listen,
The roof over here.
the chores are so we can all hang out together.
Yeah.
Now, if you didn't have the chores, I would have to do this. Mom would have to do this.
Right.
Everyone would have to do this. And then when you want to sit down and have cuddle time at the end of the night, there's no time.
Sure.
It's going straight to bed. Now, if everybody helps as a team, clear the table, wipe the table, empty the dishwasher. We have the kids who are helping with laundry.
Absolutely.
So
It's like a team.
It's a team, and
Team
it's teaching them that it's a team effort, not so much a chore. It's
Absolutely.
not a job.
Right.
Your only job in life is to go to school, and then you come home, you do chores and work as a team, and
You're
then
part of something.
it gives them.
Everybody is a part of a unit.
It's
right?
a unit.
Yeah.
And that's what we
That's
kind
fantastic.
of we talk to them about.
That's
I love
fantastic.
it. Ara, John, thank you so much
Thank you
for
guys.
dropping by.
Thank you guys for having me.
Awesome.
Thank
you
you
for coming on the
See
show.
you guys soon.
Hey,
Absolutely.
all you Real Dad Talk listeners, please check out Ara. All his recipes are amazing. On Instagram, go to Ara Zada
Ara Zada.
Zada
It works.
Ara Zada, and also please.
You can find me on TikTok, Chef Ara Zada, YouTube, Chef Ara Zada. We have some upcoming events coming up. RMX Fusion with me and Jack Jr. And there's some TV shows that are coming out. You can stay posted on my account and you can get all the details.
Thank you guys. We'll put all this information on Real Dad Talk and we'll check everyone out next time. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you,
bro.
Oh!
Real Dad Talk.